In this tutorial, I'll show you how to use the stickman rig created in previous tutorials to set up a very simple walk cycle. Open the stickman rig made in previous tutorials. You can make the model yourself or download it from my website. I'm going to make the model smaller, go into object mode, press S to scale, 0.5 and enter. I'm going to move the model up, G to grab, Z for the Z direction, and move that up using the X-axis for the ground. Pan down, Shift and mouse wheel and zoom in with the mouse wheel. Drag on the white diagonal lines to open up a new window and make the new window a dope sheet window. Drag on the white diagonal lines to open up another new window and change the view to the left view. And we don't need a tool shelf in both, so close that. To set up the first pose of the walk cycle, go into pose mode, zoom in with the mouse wheel and pan up, Shift and mouse wheel. Select the leg nearest to you and press G to grab and move that forward. Select the far leg, press G to grab and move that back. I like the trailing leg to be fairly straight and touching the ground. Select the root bone, press G to grab, Z for the Z direction and move the model down. And I like the leading leg to be clearly off the ground so it doesn't look like he's skating. Select the near arm, press G to grab and move it back to balance the leg going forward. Select the other arm, press G to grab and move that forward. Press A twice to select all bones. Click the Insert Keyframes button and select whole character. I'm going to set the length of the walk cycle to 20 frames and I'm going to jump to frame 20. I'm going to click the Insert Keyframes button, whole character. I'm going to go into the pose menu and copy the pose. I'm going to go to frame 10 and in the pose menu paste X flipped and Insert Keyframes, whole character. Now if I press play, we get a very simple walk cycle. To make the figure bob up and down as it walks along, go to frame 5, select the legs, press G to grab and stretch them a bit. Select the root bone, press G to grab, Z for the Z direction and move the figure up. Press A twice to select all and click Insert Keyframes, whole character. In the pose menu, copy the pose. Go to frame 15, pose menu, paste X flipped, Insert Keyframes, whole character and press play, and now the figure bobs up and down as it walks along. I'm not going to refine the walk cycle any further, but I am going to save it as a stored action. Change the mode to Action Editor and change the name of the action to Walk Cycle. And click the F button so that the action is saved even if it's not linked to the character. Drag on the white diagonal lines to close one of the windows. Change the view to the left view and zoom back with the mouse wheel. I want the stickman to move from left to right with the walk cycle repeating continuously over 200 frames. At the moment, if I press play, the walk cycle is run through once. If I go to the channel menu, Extrapolation mode, make Cyclic, now if I press play, the walk cycle is repeated continuously. To move the stickman from left to right without overwriting existing keyframes, go into object mode, go to frame, make change, press G to grab, Y for the Y direction and move the figure to the left. Insert keyframe, location, go to frame, frame 200, make change, press G to grab, Y for the Y direction and move the figure to the right. Insert keyframe, location. If I press play, the figure walks slowly and then accelerates. To make the stickman walk at a constant speed, go to the key menu, Interpolation mode and set it to linear. Now if I rewind and play, the figure walks at a constant speed. I will end the tutorial there. I'll put the start file and the end file at my website www.freemovies.co.uk at the Blender channel there. Thanks for watching and goodbye.